What is up, guys? We are back, Peach Fuzz, episode 22. We are coming at you Monday night, after a full weekend of campus tour, scout day events. Quite the little road trip we went on for the weekend. So definitely a fun one to get in as we start closing out the fall.
Absolutely, man. It was good to get down to Georgia Southern again. That was my first ever location of a
Right.
PBR Georgia showcase for me, like 2 years ago, driving up from Florida and just working stuff back in the fall. So that was cool to get.
Yeah.
Always cool to get down there. So I like the South Georgia area. I try to get down there a lot in the spring. So get down in the fall is always a fun time for me as well.
Yeah, it's I guess they've probably been one of our most consistent ones in South Georgia. Pretty much have hit there pretty much every year, I feel like, whether it's been fall, whether it's been summer. But man, this past weekend was really good. 35, 36 guys, really strong group throughout, some uncommitted 26s, some up and coming 2030s, and we'll get into that a little bit later. But stop number one was in Macon, a facility that we've never been to before. Kind of got a secret little hideaway down there in Macon, and that's the Factory Sports guys. We've seen a lot of them over the years at Lake Point. I remember coming up, really their 12U, 13U team always battled. It was like them, and we were talking about with their coaches, but the EBC team that had Will Brick on it, and a Canes team that had Lee Holt and a couple of those guys on it. So like it's been cool to follow those guys. And finally got to do a scout day with them. We've been trying to put one together for a while, but had a cool little facility down in Macon. We got to run 25 or so guys through on Saturday. And I'll let you kick us off with. We'll go through some standouts here, and I'll let you get rolling with the first couple.
Starting off with MJ Lane, a guy we've seen a ton over the last few years, has been a consistent performer. We've seen him at Lake Point probably 20 times over the last 2 years, I feel like. He's came to a few events as well. Preseason All-State, he's shown well. But switch hitter, something I didn't know he was doing, but now showing quality hand speed from both sides of the plate, generating 94-mile-an-hour EVs from both sides of the plate. The bat path is consistent through the zone. Really stays on plane, can drive balls to either gap, send a couple balls deep into the trees, and they're bit of a short porch, but I sent a couple of no doubt shots, both to both gaps. So it's good to see that. Consistent behind the plate as well, accurate arm. I think he was up in the mid 70s in the velocity as well. So another good showing from him, and just it's consistent as you come. He's the guy who's going to find a home, whether in the mid major or D2 level, and it's going to show out from day one. So that's a guy that's really going to find a home and show out early.
Yeah. He's such a good kid too. Just being around him over the years. He what did he do? Pop up really preseason All-State last year, right?
Yeah,
is when he came out and had a really, really loud round, spraying the ball all over the place in IBSA. And you're not going to find a more consistent, harder working backstop. He's a bit of a workhorse back there, smothers everything up, really good catch and throw too. So always fun seeing him. But for me, a guy that really stood out, and I actually got a chance to see him towards the end of the fall, maybe second to last tournament, and that's Cooper Rice. Left-handed arm. Got to see him hit. I didn't really get to see him hit a ton in that game that I saw, but he was on the mound. He came in a tight game against a pretty good Georgia team. I can't remember who it was, but anyways, big body, 6'1", 6'2" kid, pretty stout. Did not realize he was as big as once I got up kind of closer to him at the event, as he looked at Lake Point. But sat low 80s, been up to kind of mid 80s this spring. But as you can see there, can really spin it, feel for the off speed. There's the change up there that really dives to the outer half of the zone, playing off the fastball on that arm side. So we were talking about it, but it's going to be a kid at Jones County that I think is going to have a shot to contribute for them. And in a tough region with Locust Grove, Union Grove, and Ola, we're definitely going to try to catch a few of those matchups, especially if he gets in the mix in the starting rotation for Jones County.
I mean, yeah, we'll just kind of stick on the Jones County train here, too, with one of the few 29s we had in attendance this past week, and Jace Grogan, a guy that I hadn't really seen a ton before, but I was really impressed with on both sides of the ball. Outfielder, right-handed pitcher, good balance at the plate, stays on plane through the zone, really hit hammer balls to the pull side. I think he was up to, I think he hit a couple balls on mid-80s, maybe touched a couple low 90s EVs as well. But it's a wiry frame. He's going to grow into it. It's well tapered. He creates separation, hip to shoulder separation. You can see how well he stays through the zone. On the mound, he's up to 77. Showed 3 pitches with the slider and changeup as well. and just kind of just figuring it out right now, and can be a piece early for the Jones County team. Obviously going to compete to try to make a varsity spot as a freshman. And this is a good sight to see and something to build on as he moves into his freshman season with Jones County.
Yeah, that's always fun to find those guys in the fall. And this factory team is pretty deep with Jones County guys, and we'll kind of stay on the same trend there. A guy that came to Georgia Dugout Club and really put on a show. I think he might have hit 1 or 2 bombs, but that's Jonathan Scarberry. Saturday was no different. He put on a good showing during BP. He had max EV of 96.2, average EV of 88.3, which was, I believe, event best or pretty close. I think Micah Howard might have snuck a average EV in there better than him, but max distance of 367, average distance of 267. So he was one of those kind of lone uncommitted 26s. Flowers is 27. So he was only 26 there, but really good uncommitted bat that could have the ability to make an impact at the next level, whether that be at a junior college setting. Whether that be somewhere like Middle Georgia, who's kind of transitioning to Division II from NAIA. So keep an eye on him this spring. Have a big senior year. I think he might be one of those late sign guys that ends up making a program really happy with the power potential. I think he ran pretty well too, if I'm not mistaken. 7 flat-ish, I think. Yeah, so 6'9" was his best. He ran a 6'9" at top prospect games, but what was 7 flat down there. Bit of a brisk morning, wet grass, that whole situation. So really good athlete, big body kid, and he's definitely one to keep an eye on as he heads into his senior year.
Yeah, I mean, you mentioned him when you're talking about Scarberry, but Micah Howard might have been one of the bigger winners of the day. Ran the best 60 of the day at 6.91, was second best max EV of the day at 98.7. Was hammering balls to all fields. Bat was really whippy through the zone. There's some present bat speed there as well. Kind of gets the front foot down and explodes out front. Hit a ball deep backside that I kind of made an audible explosive in the middle of the round that I had to cut out there. But it was really impressive for me. Threw well from the outfield. He had the second highest outfield velocity on the day as well, I believe. Just really checked a bunch of boxes for them. A ton that I hadn't seen a bunch. Obviously, this fall they've been there, but I missed a few fall tournaments this spring or this past fall. So doing some other things, but yeah, it was really good to see that. And when you can check every box and kind of have the best showing in almost every category, it's a great way to really build onto your junior season going in with Jones County, as we talk about them a lot, and which should be a pretty impressive roster heading into next spring. And
they should compete for sure. Yeah. Definitely a big sign there. And last guy I do want to throw in there is Kason Flowers. I was just looking back, checking some stats from the summer into the fall, and he's really improved. Max EV in the summer was 89.7, and then he was 94.8. He led us off in BP, had a really good round, ran really well too. He's a 6'9", 3 runner, was a bit better on turf at top prospect games, but all around another, Scarberry type that's going to end up making the school really happy. He's 27, so he'll go into his junior year at Veterans. I know you got to see him last year, and we'll get a chance to probably catch them again this year as well. So yeah, fun little day for us in Macon. Scout days are always fun for us. We tell the guys, like, smaller setting, help us learn them so we can scout them better at Lake Point is kind of our big spiel. And then obviously going into the off season, getting baseline numbers to get ready to go and get ready to build on as they hit the off season and get ready for the spring season. From there, we packed it up, headed to Statesboro, like we mentioned, and got down to Georgia Southern. Honestly, this was probably top 3 open event for us, right? Yeah. Over the last couple of years, through and through, like we mentioned, 35, 36 guys, and the talent was really there. And I'll let you kick us off. Familiar name, a lot of new names, but we did have 2 or 3 familiar names there, and one being a couple future gamers.
Yeah, former future gamer. I took a long drive down from Cumming, Georgia, and that's Daniel Biondo, and a guy we've seen just hit for the last 12 months pretty much everywhere, whether it was high school season, through the summer, through the fall. I think he earned the nickname Danny Barrels pretty early in the summer this year, and just kept doing it. He's gained about 15 pounds since we last saw him at Future Games, which is huge to see as well, and it showed in a BP round. I've seen him take good P. Like I said, we've seen him hit well, but we have never seen a round like we saw for him. Everything off the bat was 90+ in a 15-pitch round. I think he had an average EV at 94.7. It was 100% hard hit rate. that 79% sweet spot. He really just smoked balls into both gaps. Didn't expand his zone. Didn't try to sell out for power and hit the ball over the fence. Was really just hitting line drives, and it was just finding the barrel consistently. He came down. He wanted to show out for this coaching staff down there in Statesboro, and he did. It was really impressive to see. Hop behind the plate. It was sub 2-second top time, 76-mile-an-hour arm behind the plate as well. The arm strength's growing as well for him. That's a big thing. Just getting stronger and being more physical, showing he can be that impact defender, whether it's behind the plate or at third base, which we've seen him do very well. And just, man, it was just really impressive. Obviously, it's a guy we'd liked a ton coming into this, a future gamer. We saw him a lot. We knew what he could do. But as you progress into the fall and you should put on showings like this, it's just even better to see.
Yeah, and he's a quiet kid, and he's also quietly working.
Yeah, for sure.
And
up to 6 foot now too, so he's growing. Like gaining weight, growing. So he's just growing into that frame, getting more physical, and just staying within himself is the biggest thing. That's what we're seeing from him.
Yeah, the ball was loud off his bat for sure. Really, really impressive. And sticking on that trend, I will mention Liam Collier as well. Liam and Daniel have kind of been two of the better bat-to-ball guys in this class, in that 27 class over the last year. I think Biondo hits over 500 if he doesn't get hurt last spring, and then Collier's done it back-to-back years. And he was the same way, nice and easy BP round. Stayed with his approach, backside, right center gap, his normal deal. Did bump 85 on the mound, and he's one of those guys that can come in and get outs late in games for whoever it may be, Locust Grove or Brave Scout. So he's another one that just keeps hitting, and it was good to see him down there. But there was a lefty that you got to see a couple months ago, man. Sam Hubbard was really, really good.
Yeah. Quality mover, man. Gets down the mound extremely well. Fastball's extremely heavy, 85, 87. Mixes a good breaking ball and just fills it up. I mean, he's going to fire strikes in every quadrant of the zone. Like I mentioned, the lower half moves extremely well. He repeats well. It's a tough slot from over the top with run. I mean, it's a lot to like. He's going to throw harder. Like I mentioned, the strikes were there. It spins it well. If I can pull up the stats here, I don't know if you have them on hand, but
yeah, I got you.
Yeah. But it was a guy that he wasn't showed up to the Georgia Vermeer Scout Day in September. Not a Georgia Vermeer player per se, going to, I think, Bullock Academy, but just works out there and just showed out and kind of made a name for himself. And then when I saw his name on this roster, I was really fired up to see it. And he came out and performed, and probably what might have been the best arm of the day.
Yeah, slider 2,200 plus, and then kind of a lower spin fastball, but like you said, arm
heavy sink with run. Yep. It's going to play sinker slider guy, going to spin and sink. I'm going to mix in the changeup as well, and
1,400 on the changeup too. So coming out of that spin slot.
It was good to see, man. I mean, you have these performances against big time D1 coaches. It's always good to see, and it fires up the kids as well.
Yep. And first new name for us from Shaw County, and that's Kingston Long. Him and his brother Kingsley were both there. But, man, Kingston from the left side really put on a show in BP. It's one of these guys, like I said, we didn't know of coming into the season over in Shaw County in Columbus. And he goes 99, 3 EV. And then we got max distance of 383, average EV of 94.4. So just a great showing from Kingston all around. And as you can see there, it's hard not to like the wiry kind of 6'1", 6'2" frame, and ran pretty well too, I believe. Yeah, 7 flat 60. Gets out of the gate well at 163, 10-yard split, and was 81 from the outfield. So another guy, like we love finding these type of players that, now we're going to have to run down to Columbus and check in on him in the spring and see how his senior year's going, because he could be a guy that could really explode with those type of tools at the dish.
Yeah, I mean, and the ball doesn't carry extremely well in this park, and that ball that he hit the right center, that was, I believe, the 383 it just kept carrying and just carried over the wall there. It was impressive to see, and it's just easy power. And another round that was 90 plus throughout, which was awesome to see. I mean, I think we had so many of them there on the day, which was just awesome, and off a machine too. So like, if you don't have your timing on a machine, you're not going to have rounds like that. So just guys getting in there ready to hit. It was impressive to see, and he was another one who did it.
Yeah,
And it was one of the last rounds of the day. So you're just like kind of like throttling down as BP comes to an end, and then he steps in there and just starts barreling everything and just gets you fired right back up. So
yeah, we had six guys over average 90 EV in their rounds. We had 3 of them at 89. So that's that's awesome to see. These first, I don't know, we had max distances were pretty really good too. 383, 380, 378. There's pretty much half the field was up over 315, 320. So a lot of good bats there. It's always fun to have a really solid BP round, 1 through 30 something. It's one after the other, keeps you on your toes.
Yeah, I mean, and talking about keeping our toes, Case McBride kept me on my toes all day long. I mean, he kind of just filled every box he wanted to see when he filled. Came out, ran a 6.74, and I believe in the 60, which was best for the day. Showed a whippy bat, put a couple balls out, pull side and BP. Good feel for the barrel right now. I think his max EV, I'm trying to pull it up, 97.8, max distance 365. Just really hit the ball hard. Was out in front every time, catching balls. On defensively, showed really well. Moved well laterally. Was 90 across the infield. And upset about it. We're talking about the fall. We're working. That's when somebody's working in the fall. He wants to improve on every number across the board. He just wants to show out and compete, and that's what he did all day long. And it was really impressive to see that. A guy we've seen a good bit over the last 2 years as well, and just keeps improving in the 20 reclass in the 27 group now. So a big piece into that class that's already extremely impressive, as we know. So. Guys been looking to find a home this year, looking to have a big junior season. I think he will, George Vermeer.
Yeah, it's always fun to see guys like that that we kind of saw East Georgia preseason ID, and then we've seen him a couple times since, and he just keeps progressing. And another guy that keeps progressing is Kai Hernandez Gamble, top EV of the day at 105.1, which is always fun seeing some big numbers like that. That was a pull side ball that he had, probably right center, probably the one. That grabbed that average EV right at 90, max distance of 377. But he's another one, man, he was already kind of pretty stout kid, but he's added some serious strength to the frame, and it's really showing both at the plate and on the mound. I believe he got up to mid 80s on the mound, and it's consistently sitting mid 80s with 2 other good pitches with a changeup slider mix, I believe. And he will be one that we'll have to get down to see at Benedictine at some point to see him, Harris Brothers, all those guys. So fun seeing Kai at this event and in this setting. It's been a little bit. He had to pull out of, I don't know, top prospect games, maybe injury or something. Ended up sliding up here for the fall and put on a show for the staff as well.
Yeah, I mean, he's been a guy I've liked for a while now, so it's always impressive to see that. And he was super fired up about hitting numbers like that in the fall. So obviously, when you hit 105 AVs, you're impressive. Obviously, I walked up and told him, and he just kind of he's instantly juiced up. So those are cool moments, and I was excited to see. The last couple of guys I'll mention, a couple more George Vermeer guys who came down, a couple of guys I saw back in the scout day in September, and that's we'll start with Josiah Patrick, a 2027 middle infielder, outfielder as well. Can really do a lot. It's a wiry 5'11", 150-pound frame with a ton of projection remaining. Showed some good bat speed, hammered some balls to the pull side. I think he was up to 99.1 for a max EV on the day, which was one of the higher ones on the day. There's a lot to build on with this. Ran a 6'7", 260 as well. It's got explosive first step, really got out of the box well and maintained top speed across. Showed good actions in the infield and the outfield. Just guy checks, like I've mentioned a lot today with this group, they just check boxes. They're not out there trying to do too much, continuing to progress. And then another guy checking boxes. Eric Del Carmen, it's a powder keg of an athlete at 5'10", 175 pounds. Was 91 from the outfield. I saw him a few months ago at 98 from the outfield. He kind of got the ball, kind of got onto him a little bit this past week. I think he's a little nervous in these settings. You get around a lot. I get around a bunch of kids and these coaches. You start overthinking things.
Trying to let it eat, for sure.
Trying to let it eat a little bit. So, but still up to 91, up to 99.9 in BP as well. Didn't get a great start in the 60 and still ran a 6.74. Is just a freaky athlete. Really twitchy. The ball kind of jumps off the barrel. Showed well at the scout day and ended up earning a commitment, I believe, that same day to Seminole State. So just a guy who's kind of just ticking up now, 2026 guy who's got a chance to get the JUCO ball and really show out early and just be one of those dirt dogs who's going to compete and just do a bunch of things well and get on the field and play. And I really like the look we've seen from the last few months.
Yeah, it was fun.
He's shown well for Avery the last few times that.
When they've been
they showed up the PBR. They showed up the PBR Cup and put on a show. He's texting me, "This is my favorite team I've ever watched," because they were just hammering balls over the field. So that was cool to see that. So a full circle moment for the fall there for sure.
Yeah, I was glad to see some of those guys from that group too. Hopefully, I think we might be getting them up at Lake Point at some point later in their academy season for some playoffs or something along those lines. So that'll be good. Knowing those guys from the fall event. Last guy I will mention, Jaden Whiteside.
Oh yeah, man.
QB1. Friday nights and then making the trip down. Luckily, it was Sunday, so not a crazy quick turnaround, but still he's got, probably get back, probably film on Saturday and then head down for this on Sunday. And he's another one too. And we talked about this for whatever reason, like seeing Biondo and seeing Whiteside, I've seen them for so long and they were like smaller guys. Like in my head, they're still like these smaller, like 13, 14-year-olds, but they're not anymore.
No, they're in like that time frame where they just start sprouting up like overnight. You just don't really realize it until you see. Like it goes 2 months, and these kids, like Connor Nix was another one. I think he grew 2 inches since the last time we've seen him. These kids are just sprouting up like as quick as they come. I mean, it's awesome to see. Obviously, us not being the largest humans on the planet, it's impressive to see when these kids grow so fast. So yeah, it's awesome to see that.
Yeah, and you're obviously not playing Georgia Marietta high school football at 5'10", $130. As QB1. So,
in your mind, you'd think he is, but
so he was really impressive. He hit some balls really hard. 97 EV. He's one of our first guys to go. Smooth actions in the infield, and we've talked about it before, but you bet on those athlete types regardless.
Ran a 6'7", I believe, as well.
Yeah. So whether he sticks it short, whether he finds a spot somewhere else in the infield, whether he goes and plays ball hawk in the outfield, like he's gonna find a place on the field somewhere in some way, shape, or form. So he's always fun to see. Junior future gamer for us. Been to events, year after year with the Cougs and all that good stuff. So pumped to see him. Good luck this coming Friday playing Aiden Watson, he said. So two baseball guys squaring off, Marietta versus Harrison in football.
Oh man, that's a pretty good one. I mean, that's a fun matchup there. So
yeah, so that'll be a lot of fun. I think that about wraps it up for weekend number 2 of the campus tour. As we get ready for this week, we'll be over at Georgia this weekend, and we'll get into kind of the full preseason schedule and the rest of the events here shortly. But talk about some of these commitments. We got a couple driving home on Sunday. We got one today. Ford Monin. We might be messing that up, Ford, but to Clemson. What about that?
That's a huge one. Obviously, with some Clemson ties there. His dad was a Clemson alum for the early 90s, I believe. Is still involved with the program, but that's a huge one. Guy kind of showed up in the summer, hit a couple big-time bombs at Lake Point, showed well in the spring as well. Westminster, one of their stars, really quality defender as well. Kind of does a lot for that team. A high floor profile is going to get in there and work his ass off and try to get on the field early. I know they signed now two 27 catchers from the Peach State to
they trained together too.
Yeah, with Caden Borcherding also in that 27 class. So it's impressive to see that Clemson comes in and does a really good job in Georgia. It seems to be every year they have 4 or 5 kids they're gonna commit out of the state. So obviously we'll talk about another one here in a little bit. They were having a hot week in the state of Georgia this week, but yeah, it's awesome to see Ford, and really congratulations to him and his whole family.
Yeah, that's definitely awesome for him. Great kid too. He's one of those kids that like comes right up to you at top prospect games, introduce himself. Kind of stayed in touch since. So always good seeing kids find a home like that. Next one, we're talking about Harrison Davis Gursky headed to LaGrange, pitchability righty. That's going to be a big piece for the Hoyas this spring. We're going to be talking about them a lot, I think, in 26. And then
like my favorite sneaky arm from senior games this past
definitely.
So he was really good there. 4 pitches, kind of filled it up. He might just be the sneaky like veteran leader for that team. I mean, obviously they have Colin White, another senior, but missing a whole year last year. So just having that steady Eddie in the 3-hole or starting pitcher 3 is huge to have, and he's going to be a big factor for them this year.
Yeah, LaGrange always seems to find those junior, senior Georgia guys that are just like, what you're going to get time in and time out, whether that be bats, whether that be an arm. They always seem to find those guys that are just steady, really good ball players that are going to end up really excelling at a four-year school like that in that setting. So congrats to Davis. Another one we had, what was that, Saturday? I think you came over and was like, hey, just see Breck. So Andrew Breck to Georgia Tech. I know you're fired up about that one.
Absolutely, man. Big fan of the Tech and that program there. To see our guys finding a home there is awesome to see. Breck's been a guy we've seen a ton. Really been a constant performer. One of the harder fastballs to barrel up we've seen in this 27 class. Sliders made a ton of strides as well in the low 80s with some bite to it. Really fills it up. It's whippy arm speed. I think we had every school in Power 4 in on it at one point in the spring that really had to see it.
Like the stuff there for a while.
Yeah, the stuff can just get outrageous. Was the do everything guy for Mountain View last year. Kind of pushed them into the playoffs. I think got them into the second round. They lost a tough one to Carrollton that we was sitting in the rain with Tennessee, watching them pitch in that one. So that was. I mean, he's been the guy who's just kind of made a name for himself. Made USA 15 last year as well. Just kind of doing his thing, kind of a low-key cat. He showed up to future games, doesn't talk a lot. Another guys we see a lot just comes out there and just works. And he just really does a ton, and just really happy for him and fired up to see what Coach Taylor can do with that pitching arsenal that he already has.
Yeah, he ended up jumping up in the fall too, towards the late of the fall, which was good to see. And really good to see that from him, just keeping that velo steady. And then I think we'll probably see him grabbing some 2s and 3s this spring.
I want to say he hit a 1 or 2 late in the fall as well. I believe I saw some videos. So it's impressive to see. Just kind of competes always. So that's the kind of stuff you want to see from him.
Yep. And another one came through. Dallas Rice headed to Young Harris. He was a senior games guy. So he'll be headed there. He was actually coming to the event this coming weekend, but ended up committing. So he's headed up to Young Harris. Was trying to think of any more before the big one. I think that was it. But yeah, big one dropping today.
Big one dropping today. We had heard some rumblings that it could be a thing, and then it came out. But yeah, Clemson, we just talked about it, but landing a massive one here, and probably one of the highest upsides we have in the state in Chubb Jones Jr. Kind of has done everything for us over the last, probably we'll say year, but the last 6 to 8 months has just been a massive jump, a meteoric rise per se. Up 97 in the spring, showed really well in the summer, came to future games, show well, came to All-American games, show well, do it all, ran a 6.3 at future games as well, which is something I didn't know he had in the tank. So just having that and showing that athleticism, it's a true plus athlete. Swing and miss stuff with 4 pitches on the mound, and he's kind of just scratching the surface. I really don't know what the ceiling is for him, but we haven't seen it yet, and I'm pretty fired up to see where it's gonna come from. Like the stuff we're showing here, like it's easy, it's confident. He's gonna attack. He's throwing 4 pitches. The splitters came a long way. There's a chance it's 3+ pitches eventually in his career. Like it's that kind of arm talent that you don't see every day. It's whippy. It's athletic. He's 6'3", 180, and just barely hitting his projection level right now. So. I can't say enough good things about Chubb. The kid is awesome. The family is awesome. It's a huge get for them, and I'm just really fired up for him and his family. And just I'm pumped to see what this future games team, man. It's impressive to see where these guys are landing. All deserving, but it's just really impressive to see. Like this is the kind of stuff that like makes this job extremely rewarding for me. Like seeing the work that these kids put in, and then finding these big time homes at all these big time schools is awesome.
Yeah, 15 off the board from Team Georgia, and then I think we're at 5 or 6 from Team Southeast. So getting close up over that 75% mark. So awesome stuff there. Like we said, those are always big ones for us. Fun to see. I know we're just a small part of the journey, but it's fun to see their hard work paying off. And without further ado, we had some big announcements coming up this week. We talked about preseason All-State last week. We're going to have it January 10th and January 11th at IVSA training, back to year 3 there. And those invites are going out on Thursday. We wanted to go ahead and get those on the board. We know that's a big event for us, big event for you guys. So those invites will be going out. We will be having 2029 rankings drop on November 24th as well. So we'll start getting those guys in the mix for this event. And like we said, this is one of our favorite events of the year. It really sets the tone for the high school season. I know you talked about that last time, but it's a lot of fun. It's
so much fun, man. Like it's just the environment, just the talent level, like the camaraderie amongst the guys.
Haven't seen everybody in 2
years. You haven't seen everybody in 2 months. Everybody's gained 10 pounds, 15 pounds. Everybody's stronger. They look different, Like it's just it's awesome to see. Like we've built a ton of relationships with all these classes. So seeing these kids after a few months is exciting. It's just as exciting for us as they're excited to put some numbers on the board. So there's been some extreme standouts over the last few years. Some guys like it was my first time seeing Colin Anderson last year. Was at this event. He just kind of blew me away. Where I was like, oh, this is just so different now that I'm just like. And then 2 years ago was Condon and Cannon Golden and everybody else who really just made a name for themselves in my first time there. So like this is my favorite event of the year. I mean, unbiasedly, I know we have a ton of fun events, but like the day in IBSA, like the 2 day, now we do a two day event where we get both guys in there and you're in and out, you're enjoying it. It's just a ton of good talent around you. It just feels different, it's very intimate feeling.
And we're trying to elevate it, year after year too. And we're getting ready to send out high school previews already. I know a lot of your coaches really, really like those. And we probably did 80, 90, close to 100 of them last year. I'm assuming that number will be up over 100 this year. So these preseason All-State and preseason IDs events, we use those to build those previews as well. So like we don't just want to have name and, commit on those previews. Like we want to have all your info from the preseason as we get ready for the high school season. And we'll do our preseason All-State teams right after it as well. So that's always a fun piece to look forward to. So like I said, we're going to elevate it year after year. We're going to have the media there. We're going to have the photos there. Like we're going to have it all there. And we want to keep making it better each year for you guys. So counting down the days there, invites go out Thursday. Check your inbox. Sometimes they get tossed into spam every now and then. If you put me on do not disturb or whatever on your email if you don't want to get emails from me. But
his favorite thing, do not disturb.
Be sure to check that. If you don't, throw an invite request in there. We'll get back to you. So pumped for that event like always. And with that, full preseason ID schedule surrounded the All-States. We'll kick things off down south January 3rd at Camden County. And then we will come back up a little farther north, back to Macon at Mercer on January 4th for the Mercer preseason ID. And then we'll have our preseason All-State weeks. And then we'll jump over to Lake Point for preseason All-State, Lake Point preseason ID on the 17th, which is just kind of like a central place for a lot of guys to get to be able to see you guys. And then we will be at Woodward Academy for the Atlanta preseason ID, which is a new one we're really excited about. We want to get the Atlanta public school guys over there, Maynard Jackson, North Atlanta, Westlake, Woodward, obviously. All those guys, we want to try to get there and highlight the city of Atlanta with the baseball that they got going on right now too. So we will be at IBSA on the 18th as well for the East Georgia preseason ID. So we're doubled up that day. So a lot of good stuff in the works. We're trying to add events year after year. And I think that we're in a good spot touching each part of the state in 2026.
Yeah, and it's hard not to touch every part of the state because the talent is everywhere. Obviously, we saw last week or this past weekend in Statesboro. Obviously, we're going to see it when we get over in the Savannah area. So it's just everywhere. So that's what we love, finding the new talent, just giving you guys as much exposure as we can, doing our part for you guys in that front.
Yeah, and last thing, couple weeks left in the fall here. Headed to Georgia this weekend. Got a good group of there so far. We'll get teams and all set tomorrow and get those sent out. But still have a few position spots available. Have some innings left. We have plenty of time at the field, so we have the innings to burn, more ABs for hitters if we get more pitchers. So if you need to jump in there. Still got time there, and then we'll be at Kennesaw State on November 16th to close things out for the fall and for the year that is. So. Yeah. Quickly approaching. I knew this weekend. Once we get past this weekend, it was going to fly by. But
been a home stretch. It's crazy to even say that. It doesn't feel like it stops for 9 months.